morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's weekly energy boost. More than that, welcome to our first summer mini episode. In lieu of going on a summer break completely and not recording any episodes until the fall, we decided to share with you a condensed version of the weekly energy boost so that you will have both the guidance, the direction, the stories, the tools, and the inspiration to best navigate the coming week using the tools and the wisdom of Kabbalah. And even though what we're going to share every week is specifically directed to what's happening energetically this coming week, those lessons and those tools are timeless and can serve you anytime you need them. So this week we have a couple of influences that are quite refreshing, especially considering the energy that we've been experiencing over the last 6 weeks. First and foremost, this Friday, which is June 7th, is the new moon of Gemini. And on the Kabbalistic calendar, the coming of the new moon of Gemini indicates an uptick of positive energy. If you've been listening to the podcast for the last couple months, you know that we're just at the tail end of what is typically a heavier time of the year energetically. It's called the Omer, and it's a time in which the universe really sets up challenges which almost without exception are an illusion, are smoke and mirrors, to test us to see how much we've grown, how far we've grown, how much stronger we get, how much more weight we can bench press, spiritually, of course. And I know from everyone I've talked to that there has been a mix of wins and not so much. And the fact that that period called the Omer leads into a time that is extremely, I would say, conducive to positive energy, to making an effort. One of the things we've guided everyone toward in the last few weeks is not initiating anything new, not planting any new seeds, really being in the mode of letting the crops take root, right? There's times of year that we till the soil, we plant the seeds, we water, we fertilize, and then there's times that we let nature do its thing. And the Omer is one of those times that we really sit back and let what we've invested in grow. The time to plant seeds as well as to harvest is this month of Gemini. So as usual on the weekly energy boost, when we come to a week that includes the new moon, and the new moon on the Kabbalistic calendar doesn't always coincide with the new moon on the Gregorian calendar. Sometimes we get listeners who write in and say, hey, it's not that new moon, or the new moon is in a week. We're focused on the Kabbalistic calendar, which is a lunar solar calendar. So from Thursday night until Friday night, we have this opportunity to genetically modify the seed for the month of Gemini. So for the next 30 days, how we navigate Thursday night and Friday leaves an impression on how the remaining 29 days of the month are going to be laid out for us. So there's certain things that we have coming to us that are inevitable, that are going to be as they are. And then there are certain things that we have the opportunity to improve and transform by virtue of what we do, what our mindset is, how we behave on the new moon. So our suggestion is always be on your best behavior, act with as much kindness, compassion, optimism, focus on the way that you can bring people together rather than separate them. Be mindful of your thoughts, words, and actions. And no matter what you end up doing with that approach, with that intention, you're upgrading the quality of the coming month. So that's Friday. Because it's also the last week of the Omer, it represents the energy of manifestation. So from Wednesday until the following Tuesday, so even though it's Monday today, I'm talking about an energy shift we're going to experience on Wednesday. We're shifting into the final week of the Omer, which is the manifestation of our effort, which is why there's such a dramatic increase in energy, is because we're really benefiting at that point from all of the hard work we put in these last 6 weeks. And as we move toward the end, which we'll talk about in next week's episode, as we move toward the final days of the Omer, the energy increases. So you may find yourself even feeling more energized, feeling more optimistic, not because you're making an effort, but simply because the influence around us. And when we talk about those influences, what we're talking about is the opportunity that the universe is giving us to grow ourselves, to transform ourselves. And in a way, it will be easier because that energy is so supportive. In times where it's less easy to be positive, to be mindful, to be conscious, when we are able to behave in those ways, it reveals much more light. So it will, quote unquote, be easier, but that just gives us less and less of an excuse to be spiritually lazy. And that really segues into the topic of this week and the opportunity, which, we entitled this week's episode, Being a Light in the Darkness. It's one of those titles we could probably use every week on the Weekly Energy Boost. But in fact, because we have these new energies coming towards us, we're also beginning a new book in the cycle of the Torah readings, which informs the Zohar readings, which is where we get so much of the consciousness and tools we share with you on the Weekly Energy Boost. There's this energy of spark, of creating a new flame, of igniting something that's new. And we make an effort on the Weekly Energy Boost to do more, even though we're focusing on the energy of the week and the energy of the month. We try not to get too much into the state of affairs, current events, because as I know, many of our listeners find the Weekly Energy Boost and then go backwards. And I think about all the stuff we said during lockdown, not that those spiritual concepts aren't relevant, but because we're no longer in lockdown, a lot of those lessons sort of, seem like, well, we could have talked about something else. So we haven't really spoken much about the current events and the state of affairs on planet Earth specifically. However, unless you're hiding under a rock, you probably feel pretty defeatist most of the time, no matter which side, which camp you're in, so to speak, and in any level, whether you're talking about what's happening in the Middle East, whether you're talking about what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, whether you're talking about what's happening in the political divides in the US or in Brazil or anywhere else, it doesn't look good. And it's hard as a spiritual human being to continue to maintain that headspace of the light that I reveal makes a difference. To wake up in the morning and to meditate or to pray, or maybe meditate and pray, to continue to shine your light in the world and feel like it's making a difference. I can tell you personally, it's something I struggle with every day. I wake up every morning, I do my own personal connections, plugging in for the day, and then I check the news, hoping for good news. And it occurred to me, maybe I should stop checking the news, because it usually, I want to say in the last 8 months, it usually, I think every single day, maybe with a couple exceptions, it resulted in crying. But the fact of the matter is that at the end of those tears, maybe I have the benefit of being a Kabbalah teacher and this is my work in the world, but to know that if I don't maintain that mindset of my actions matter, I do make a difference, today is a new day, and the fact that things can change in an instant. There's a teaching in the wisdom of Kabbalah. It comes from the founder of the Kabbalah Centre, Rav Yehuda Ashlag. He says that it's like there's this scales. The universe, our world rests on these scales. One side holds our positive actions as humanity, and one side holds our negative actions. And everything counts. Everything is considered. So if I am making, the positive actions that I do contribute to the positive side and the negative to the negative. And you can say, well, listen, the world's going to hell in a handbasket anyway. I might as well enjoy myself. But the truth of the matter is, you never know. And Rav Ashlag actually likens those actions to sesame seeds, to granules, right? So it's not that one action is bigger than the other. All of them are the same tiny spark, but you never know what spark is going to be the last action or the last word or the last meditation that is going to tip the scales and create a serious change in the world. The Kabbalists teach that we are guaranteed at some point we will reach a critical mass of light revealed in the world, and there will be an end to pain and suffering, period, for everyone. We don't need to wait for the entire world to get with it, right? If we had to do that, again, I would probably go stand on the side of people saying that the world's going to hell in a handbasket. The point is that this week we are really given that boost. It's almost as if there is a voice that calls out to each one of us that's reminding us, you matter. Take your thoughts, words, and actions seriously. You contribute. And we have the privilege as human beings, as compared to animals or the plant kingdom or the inanimate kingdom, to be able to reveal the light of the Creator in the physical reality, to draw light from the metaphysical realm into the physical realm. So this week, part of what we want to ask ourselves is, am I doing those things? Am I doing what I can to be a force of light in the world? Have I let some of the things that I used to do to reveal my light in the world, have I stopped doing those things? And when I say the things I do to reveal my light in the world, I'm not only talking about prayer and meditation or, kindness and sharing, which I think by nature make us think of goodness and spirituality and helping the world. There are ways we reveal light that we might not realize we reveal light. Of course, prayer and meditation, yes, I don't want to discount them, but any talent or gift you have, any ability you have to influence others, any opportunity you have to go against your own selfish nature, whether someone is looking or not, right? Those actions are between you and the universe, not you and an audience. So let's all take a look this week to see what it is we've let fall off our habits, our practices. Perhaps we can engage in a new practice. And so I also, for those of you that have a spiritual mentor, teacher, guide, it's a great time to ask your mentor, teacher, or guide if there's anything else you can be doing to reveal more of your unique light, because the world needs it now more than ever. And I want to end with some words from my teacher, Karen Berg, who spoke about this same window in time, right? The week of Bamidbar, when it coincided with the week of the new moon of Gemini, which is again always going to coincide with the week of Malchut in the Omer. So we'll end this week's mini episode with a few words from Karen. Life at times can be a place of coldness, fears, and doubts. It can feel like the wilderness. Without our care and spiritual effort, the world can turn from the light like a waning moon. However, it does not need to be this way. We came to this world to unify the moon and the sun. We are here to be the vehicle by which the moon can shine like the sun. We are here to open our hearts and love one another as much as we can, and in the process, reflect and reveal the totality of the Creator's light, removing pain and suffering from the world. This is nothing less than our purpose and reason for existing. This week, we are given the strength and ability to draw light where there was once none. We are afforded the power to transform the moon into the sun and turn on the light within ourselves and the world. For your meditation, take your thoughts to the night sky. Envision a beautiful and bright full moon. It is the midnight sun. It shines brightly and it is in full radiance. It illuminates all of the sky. It is full and at its peak. Now see yourself in the same way. Visualize yourself at your potential. See yourself living the life you desire. You are doing what you love, and every day you manifest the truest desires of your heart. You are a force of love and the giving in this world. See your potential in what you are able to manifest, create, and contribute. Feel your heart open and see it giving love to everyone and everything. You are shining like the sun. Even though we ourselves may not have light of our own, it does not matter in the least. We are one with the Creator and one with the light. There is no difference anymore between the sun and the moon, between the cause and the effect, and between us and the Creator. Everything has become unified, and the light now fills our world. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as everywhere you listen to podcasts. We also have a website, weeklyenergyboost.com, where you can find our archives. You can find a way to message us, as well as click the donate button and contribute to make our podcast possible. We also want to remind you that the best thing you can do for us and for the world is to share this episode. The more people with this awareness and understanding, the more light is going to be revealed in the world. And of course, then the less dark the world is going to be. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost Summer mini episodes.